Have you ever wondered about the Knights Templar? The Knights Templar, history's favorite mashup of pious devotion, military prowess, and conspiracy theory fuel. The mere mention of their name conjures images of valiant warriors, hidden treasures, and secret handshakes that might make a Freemason blush. But who were these guys, really? Buckle up, because we're going on a ride through their history, complete with battles, betrayals, and maybe just a touch of Monty Python level absurdity. I'm Keith, and this is History Wonder. The Knights Templar didn't start off as the armored superstars of the medieval world. In fact, their beginnings were rather quaint. Around 1119 AD, 9 knights, yes, just 9, decided to band together in Jerusalem to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. Back then, the roads to Jerusalem were less scenic route and more get ambushed and robbed route. Led by Hugues de Payens, the motley crew of knights took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. They called themselves the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Templar of Solomon. Quite the mouthful, isn't it? Thankfully, people just started calling them the Knights Templar, which sounds way cooler and fits better on a business card. Their base of operations? The Alaka Mosque, which they believed stood on the ruins of King Solomon's temple. That's right, these 9 knights were squatting in a place they figured was holy, while trying to fend off bandits. A humble beginning indeed. Things really started heating up for the Templars in 1129, when they got an endorsement from the Catholic Church. This wasn't just any endorsement, it was the medieval equivalent of getting verified on Twitter. At the Council of Troyes, the Templars gained the official backing of the Pope, which, with perks like tax exemptions, permission to build their own churches, and the ability to skip lines at the medieval equivalent of the airport security. Their fame skyrocketed thanks to their unique brand, warrior monks. They were the first military order, a combination of piety and butt-kickery, that captured the medieval imagination. By the mid-12th century, the Templars were rolling in donations from nobles who wanted to support the Crusades or just curry favor with God. Land, money, livestock, you name it, the people gave it to the Templars. They soon had chapters across Europe and the Holy Land, making them one of the most powerful organizations at the time. But because they were such a powerful organization in such vast places, they weren't just about swords and sanctity. They were also medieval financial wizards. Picture this. You're a noble planning a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. You don't want to lug all your gold with you because, bandits. So you deposit your treasure with the local Templar chapter and get a receipt. When you arrive in Jerusalem, you present your receipt and voila, your funds are there waiting for you. Congratulations, you've just used a proto-checking account. The Templars essentially invented an early form of banking, which made them indispensable to kings, merchants, and anyone else with deep pockets. They became ridiculously wealthy, which was great for funding their crusade-related activities, but also painted a giant target on their backs. As any gangster movie will tell you, flaunting your wealth and power is a surefire way to make enemies. Beyond simple banking, the Templars operated a network of fortified castles and commanderies that doubled as financial hubs and military bases. Their organizational structure was highly efficient, with clear hierarchies and protocols that allowed them to manage vast amounts of wealth and land. They were also pioneers in logistics, ensuring supplies and reinforcements could reach their forces across long distances. It's not an exaggeration to say they were the medieval world's equivalent of a multinational corporation. The Knights Templar were at their peak during the Crusades, especially the Second and Third Crusades. They weren't just guarding pilgrims anymore. They were leading charges, fortifying castles, and basically acting as the medieval equivalent of the Avengers. Their white mantles with the red cross became a symbol of fear for their enemies and admiration for their allies. One of their finest hours came during the Battle of Montgisard in 1177. With just 500 knights and a handful of infantry, the Templars helped King Baldwin IV of Jerusalem defeat a massive army led by Saladin. It was the kind of underdog victory that would have made a great sports movie if medieval knights played football instead of, cutting each other down with swords. The Templars were also instrumental in building and defending some of the most iconic Crusade fortresses, such as the mighty Crac des Chevaliers in modern-day Syria. These fortresses weren't just military strongholds, they were symbols of Templars' determination and ingenuity, capable of withstanding prolonged sieges and housing entire communities. But the Crusades were a mixed bag. For every glorious victory, there was a catastrophic defeat. The fall of Acre in 1291 marked the end of the Crusader presence in the Holy Land and a significant blow to the Templars. With no Holy Land to defend, their raison d'etre began to crumble. They found themselves in a precarious position, still wealthy and powerful, but increasingly viewed as relics of a bygone era. Fast forward to the early 14th century, and the Templars' fortunes had taken a nosedive. Their wealth and power had made them a lot of enemies, including King Philip IV of France. Philip, who was both heavily in debt to the Templars and generally a shady dude, decided it was time to bring them down. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, yes, this is one reason Friday the 13th has spooky vibes, Philip ordered the arrest of all Templars in France. The charges? Heresy, blasphemy, and a laundry list of other crimes that were probably cooked up over a few too many goblets of wine. Under torture, many Templars confessed to ridiculous accusations like spitting on the cross or worshipping a mysterious idol named Baphomet. And spoiler, these confessions were about as reliable as a medieval weather forecast. The Pope, who initially tried to defend the Templars, eventually caved to Philip's pressure. In 1312, the Templar Order was officially disbanded. Its members were either absorbed into other organizations or executed. The last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake in 1314. A legend has it that as the flames consumed him, he cursed King Philip and Pope Clement V, both of whom conveniently died within a year. Coincidence? Well, maybe, but it's a heck of a story. If you thought the Templar story ended with their downfall, think again. Over the centuries, they've become quite the subject of endless speculation and myth-making. Treasure hunters have claimed the Templars hid the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, or even the lost treasures of Atlantis. Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code practically turned them into pop culture rock stars complete with secret societies and global conspiracies. Real historians will tell you, though, that most of these stories are, well, nonsense. But that doesn't stop people from obsessing over them. Whether it's movies, video games, or late-night History Channel specials, the Knights Templar continue to captivate our imagination. At their core, the Knights Templar were a product of their time, a group of warrior monks who rose to predominance during one of history's most turbulent eras. They were brave, resourceful, and sometimes ruthless. They were also human, which means they were flawed, ambitious, and occasionally victims of their own success. Their story is a fascinating mix of faith, power, and intrigue that reminds us of the complexities of history. They revolutionized medieval warfare, finance, and logistics, leaving a legacy that echoes through the centuries. And hey, if nothing else, they're proof that even in the medieval world, you could start from nothing and build an empire, just as long as you didn't mind dodging a few conspiracy theories along the way. So the next time someone brings up the Knights Templar, you can nod sagely and say, "Oh yeah, the warrior monks, financial geniuses, and history's ultimate plot twist." Then sit back and watch as they try to figure out if you're serious or just really good at trivia. Thanks for watching. What topics in history have you wondered about? Comment below and let us know what videos you would like to see. And be sure to like and subscribe.